Doc Brown needed 1.21 gigawatts to send a DeLorean through time, and he said it like it was an impossible amount of power. Here's the thing, a single nuclear reactor pumps out almost exactly that right now, and it's powering a few 100,000 people watching Netflix. No lightning bolt required, just steam. So what is a gigawatt? Because I promise you, almost everyone who uses the word in a headline has no idea. And the misunderstanding isn't trivial, it's the root of basically every dumb argument about energy you've ever scrolled past. Let's start at the bottom. A watt is not an amount of energy. I know it sounds like one. It is not. A watt is a rate. Specifically, 1 joule per second. A joule is the amount of energy. A watt is how fast you're spending it. This is the single most important distinction in this entire video. So let me beat it to death with an analogy. Energy is like money in your bank account. Power is like your salary. Dollars per second. When your 100-watt light bulb is on, it is not using 100 watts of electricity. That sentence is gibberish. It is converting 100 joules every single second into light and, mostly, heat. The longer it's on, the more total joules it eats. Power times time equals energy. This, by the way, is why your electric bill is in kilowatt-hours, not kilowatts. A kilowatt-hour is a rate times a time. It's actual energy. Journalists mix up megawatt and megawatt-hour constantly, which is like confusing miles per hour with miles. Sure, they're related. They are also completely different things, and one of them will get you a speeding ticket. Okay, now that we've got the unit, let's climb the ladder, because watts come in wildly different sizes, and each rung is a factor of 1,000. A phone charger sips about 5 watts. Your own body, just sitting there reading this, radiates about 80 watts of heat, which is why a crowded room gets stuffy and a single person is a low-grade space heater you can take to parties. A microwave is 1,000 watts, 1 kilowatt. The average American home, averaged across the whole year, draws about 1.2 kilowatts continuously. Now we jump. An electric locomotive, 5 megawatts, 5 million watts. A big cargo ship, 80 megawatts. And then a Westinghouse AP1000 nuclear reactor, 1,110 megawatts. That's 1.11 gigawatts. Doc Brown's magic number, give or take. And the entire United States grid? It runs on an average demand of about 505 gigawatts. So the whole country, every factory and Tesla and toaster, is roughly 450 AP1000s running at once. That's a comprehensible number. I find that weirdly comforting. So let's make the AP1000 our measuring stick for the rest of this video. Because abstract gigawatts mean nothing and one concrete reactor means everything. This thing produces about 1.11 gigawatts of electricity, which powers around 500,000 homes, continuously, not on a good day. Over a year it cranks out roughly 8 to 9 terawatt-hours of actual energy. Its fuel, 157 fuel assemblies, gets swapped out once every 18 to 24 months. And the whole site fits in about 1.3 square miles. Hold on to that number. It's going to be the punchline. Now here's where it gets genuinely shocking, and it's all about the fuel. Every fuel stores energy, and we measure that as energy density, joules per kilogram. Wood gives you about 16 megajoules per kilogram. Coal, around 24. Gasoline, 46. Natural gas, about 55. These are all in the same ballpark, tens of megajoules per kilogram. Normal stuff. Things you can burn in a barbecue and feel good about. Uranium-235, undergoing fission, releases about 83 million megajoules per kilogram. That's 83 terajoules. Let me put that in perspective. Coal and uranium are not on the same chart. They're not even on the same wall. Uranium is roughly 3.5 million times more energy dense than coal. That's the same kind of exponential scaling we explored in our video on compound interest. Small differences in the base become absurd gaps at scale. Here's the version that breaks your brain. A single uranium fuel pellet, about the size of a gummy bear, weighing maybe 7 grams, contains as much energy as 1 ton of coal. 1 ton. So you're telling me this little ceramic tic-tac replaces an entire train car of black rocks? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. The pellet, versus a mountain of coal, versus a swimming pool of oil, versus a natural gas pipe, all the same energy. This is why a nuclear plant refuels every 2 years and a coal plant gets a delivery basically every day forever. But, and this is critical, energy density is about the fuel. The next number is about the land, and that's where the energy debate actually lives. Power density. How many watts you can squeeze out of each square meter of ground. This is the metric that decides whether a power source fits on a lot or eats a county. Nuclear is the heavyweight champion, hundreds to thousands of watts per square meter, because all that energy comes from a tiny core. Natural gas plants are also dense. Coal, less so. Now brace yourself. Utility solar runs about 5 to 20 watts per square meter, and that's the panel area. not even the peak output. And wind? 1 to 2 watts per square meter, because you have to space turbines far enough apart that they don't steal each other's wind, like co-workers who can't share a microwave. So let's do the actual comparison for 1 gigawatt of delivered energy over a year. Nuclear. That 1.3 square mile site, about 3.4 square kilometers. Solar to match it, roughly 50 to 75 square kilometers. Wind to match it, 300 to 500 square kilometers. The World Economic Forum put it bluntly, nuclear needs 27 times less land than coal and 34 times less than solar. Our gigawatt of nuclear fits on a parking lot. Our gigawatt of wind fills a county. Same number on the spec sheet. Wildly different reality. Now, why did I keep saying delivered energy? Because of the most underrated number in all of energy, the capacity factor. A 1 gigawatt solar farm produces 1 gigawatt only at noon, on a clear day, when the panels are clean and it's not winter. At night it produces a confident 0, averaged over a whole year. That 1 gigawatt solar farm delivers more like 250 megawatts. The capacity factor is just the report card, actual energy divided by theoretical maximum. And let me read you these grades, because they tell a story. Nuclear, 92% across the US fleet, and Vogtshall Unit 3 hit 93.7. Geothermal, about 65. Natural gas, mid-50s. Coal, high 40s. Onshore wind, 25 to 35. Solar, 20 to 28. If these were students applying to grad school, exactly one of them is getting in, and the others are explaining that they have a lot going on at home. Which, to be fair, wind and solar do. It's called weather. This is why just build solar and just build nuclear are both incomplete sentences. To match one nuclear plant's annual energy, you don't build one solar farm. You build about 4, then pray for sunshine. Picture the curves over a year. Nuclear is a flat line near the top. Solar is a daily sine wave that flatlines every night. Wind is a jagged mess that does whatever it wants. And the thing that actually matters is the area under the curve, because that area is energy. Before nuclear gets too smug, let me introduce the villain that haunts every plant that boils water: thermodynamics. A nuclear plant, a coal plant, a gas plant, they're all secretly the same machine. They make heat, the heat boils water, the steam spins a turbine, the turbine makes electricity. And there's a law from the 1800s, the Carnot limit, that says no heat engine can be perfectly efficient. The maximum is 1 minus the cold temperature divided by the hot temperature. For the AP1000, the steam is around 315 degrees Celsius and the cooling side is around 30. Plug those in, and the absolute theoretical ceiling is about 48%. Reality is worse. The AP1000 turns 3,415 megawatts of heat into 1,110 megawatts of electricity. That's about 32.5% efficiency. So where do the other 2/3 go? Up the cooling towers. Those giant concrete hyperboloids spewing white clouds, that's not pollution, that's just water vapor, and it's roughly twice the energy you actually sold to the grid, escaping into the sky because physics said so. Every steam engine ever built, from a Victorian locomotive to a modern reactor, pays this exact tax. It's a universal speed limit, and you cannot argue your way out of it. Now here's the twist that wins solar and winds some points back. They don't use a heat engine at all. A solar panel turns light straight into electricity. A wind turbine turns motion straight into electricity. No boiling, no Carnot, no 2/3 vanishing up a tower. Their trade-off isn't efficiency. It's the land and the intermittency we already covered. So which source is best? The honest answer, the one that doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, is that there isn't one. Each source has a math profile. Nuclear, insane power density, top-of-the-class capacity factor, tiny footprint, but slow and expensive to build. Solar, zero fuel cost, modular, but low density and only works when the sun shows up. Wind, free fuel, decent offshore, but it swallows land. Gas, fast and flexible, but it burns carbon and the price swings on geopolitics. The grid needs a mix, and now you can see exactly why. It's not politics, it's arithmetic. And like any network, we showed in our video on graph theory how cutting a single cable can take a country offline. One cut transmission line can cascade into a blackout. The system is only as strong as how its pieces fit together. So the next time someone shouts 1.21 gigawatts, you'll know it's not a wall of lightning. It's about one reactor, on a parking lot, quietly powering 500,000 homes, while 2/3 of its energy floats off as a cloud. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Improper Integral for more math and science made visual, and tell a friend who still thinks watts are a kind of battery.